Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. After the rent freeze that was brought in by Sturgeon during COVID that she thought was a really good idea, that eventually came to an end and rents in Scotland rose faster than anywhere else in Britain. Because of course they did. Years of not raising the rents incrementally meant they all had to go up in a big lump sum. The average was about 20%, although it varied. There was quite a few over 100%. One rent in particular actually rose by 168%. This is an example of a government that never had a clue, that didn't understand how markets worked. And so after years of not being able to uplift the rents, bang, and then rents were normalised. And the rents are now at a level that the market can sustain. The trouble is, because they've gone up so much in one big hit, people had rent shock. Rather than going up a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, it was boom. And that has proved problematic. On top of this, of course, you then have Shona Robertson with her huge IQ cutting 200 million off the affordable housing budget, which isn't going to help anyone either. And of course, things are only going to get harder as more and more landlords leave the sector. Now, Labour are attacking these figures. They're not attacking the landlords for once. They're actually attacking the cause of the problem, which was the SNP and their mad idea to introduce rent control at a time when it really wasn't a problem. Unfortunately, now it has become a problem, and rent control will not work now. It has gone beyond that. The simple reason is, if you brought rent control in now, Scotland would have no rental housing, certainly no private rental housing. And, you know, they know it. This is the problem. They know it. So the SNP have created this problem. They did not know or foresee the end of it. They could have relaxed it and said, okay, we'll allow over the course of the next 3 years rent rises, but at these rates and so forth, and done it systemically until you got to the free market rent after, say, 3 or 4 years. That's how you do it. You piecemeal it. You know, you drip it. You don't drop it all at once. Anyone could see this would happen. Anyone with half a brain, and that's the trouble, isn't it? Oh, Shona, if she only had a brain, and she dropped this off. Now they've basically pushed the problem back and back and back. And if you delay a problem, the problem gets worse. It's like anything. And so when the roof is leaking, you fix the roof. You don't put buckets on the floor. Unfortunately for the SNP, all they did was buckets. They've still not fixed the roof. They don't know how to. Labour say they have plans, but until they announce them, we can't judge them. I think they're just saying they have plans. I don't believe they do. I don't think the problem is solvable by any political party because they just literally don't know what they're doing. And with even Labour government policy down in Westminster likely to be adopted in Scotland, probably enthusiastically as well, it's not going to get better either. Labour are trying to make life harder for landlords. Seriously, get out of the game. It's dying. If you are a landlord, you know this. You know that in 5 years' time, you're unlikely to be a landlord because it's just going to get harder and harder. Sell the properties, put the money into the stock market. Bob's your uncle. You're not having to deal with all this crap. What do you do? I mean, there's going to be a few years yet. The rents will still rise. But the moment they start talking about rent controls, you know, and just think, you're only 2 and a bit years away from when you have to put in heat pumps. 2027, end of 27. That's when there'll be no housing in Scotland because all those houses will go onto the market and they'll all be snapped up and nobody will be renting out. It's a genius move, isn't it? And the trouble is, you've got all these families nowhere to go thanks to the SNP cutting all that budget to build houses. It's going to be hell, but it's a problem of their own making. Perhaps if people stopped voting SNP, things would only get better. But for heaven's sake, don't vote Labour. Thanks very much. Bye.